Why is everything so purple? What is causing this colour? And why are you pretending to surf?
I'm unsure if this had any function. It seems bare of any detail. Whatever was once placed here is long gone. I can't believe how well preserved these relics look. They must be ancient. Empty. It's in remarkable condition. Empty. Ash urns, perhaps.
Let me guess. Empty.
Empty. A thick, greasy substance is oozing from the broken pot. I haven't the faintest idea what it is. I don't wish to touch it.
Thomasina does not know what it is, and she does not want to touch it. But she will collect it.
I've scooped some of the greasy substance into the pot. In any other circumstance, this beautiful vessel would be one of my greatest finds yet. Here, it seems meaningless. Just an empty pot. It looks like an object could be placed here.
Hi there.
What in God's name? I shan't go near it.
Why not? Maybe we can attack it.
There is something unnatural about this creature. I don't wish to take it on.
Alright then, let's go for the peaceful option. Maybe these two things are linked. We have 3 chambers in which we can enter. We will start with this one.
Incredible.
I will go into some more detail about these creatures, but before I do, let's take a quick look around.
An ancient crank emerges from a mechanism within the wall. An ancient crank emerges from a mechanism within the wall.
So these are all going to be pretty much the same. Well, apart from this one with the hand attached to it.
My God! A severed hand is locked in a death grip on the handle. Who did this belong to? Ghastly. The fingers are icy cold. I've managed to pry it off. Should I keep it?
Yeah, why not? We can keep it as a memento. And this one seems to be flashing.
There's something in its mouth. A gold coin. There are no markings on heads nor tails.
Right, there is an entry in the journal for this puzzle. And the entry is this one here. All eyes must face towards the 7th Archontic. And you can see from here, when we turn the crank, this head turned around. So all these faces must face towards this one in the centre. I'm going to examine these heads individually and go into a bit more detail about them. This puzzle relates to Ophite Gnosticism. Now this can get quite messy as the details kind of depend on the source material. The Ophites worshipped 7 animal-shaped archons, or some sources call them demons. Each of these symbolised a different aspect of the physical and spiritual world. I'd highly recommend looking up the Ophite diagrams if you want to learn more about these in detail. So yeah, let's take a look at these individually.
The bust of a dog. It's facing east, towards the bear. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Eretheoth.
Now, Eretheoth, or as it's more widely known as Eretheoth, for some reason they added an extra H into its name in this game, and it generally is depicted as a dog or a dog's head. Now I don't believe there is an official numbering system for this, because it says the 7th Archontic, but I can't remember the name of one of the authors who wrote about this, but he listed this Eretheoth as number 6.
A carved bust of a cat. It's facing west. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Ioth.
Now, Ioth is generally depicted as being an incorrect name. And the name Ioth, the cat is also depicted as being wrong as well. Now, this should be a lion, which technically is a cat, of some sort at least. And the name is generally considered to be Michael. Or in some circles, Ialdabaoth, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ialdabaoth?
I think this is a bear. It's facing east. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Falthabaoth.
Falthabaoth, which I believe is actually pronounced Tohu Wabohu, and that generally is a bear's head. Now, Michael, or Ioth, is on this certain list numbered as number 1, and Tohu Wabohu is listed as number 5. Now let's look at this lovely creature in the middle.
A menacing goat carved from stone. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. V-I-I, Roman numerals.
Now, this is not actually a goat, it should be a dragon's head. And this one is called Raphael. And Raphael is generally listed as number 3, not number 7.
The bust of an ass. It's facing northwest. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Thartharoeth.
Thartharoeth is correct, but it's also known as Onoel, O-N-O-E-L. And again, that is generally depicted as an ass's head.
The bust of an eagle. It's facing northwest towards the dog. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Eloios.
Eloios is generally named Gabriel, but Eloios is not an uncommon name for it. And that is generally depicted as number 4. And Onoel, or Farfaroth, is depicted as number 7 actually, not number 1.
A bust of a mighty bull. It's facing southeast. I can't move it. There's an inscription on the base. Sauriel.
Now, Sauriel is also called Sariel, S-A-R-I-E-L, and is generally depicted as a bull. And Sauriel is listed as number 2. Anyway, Raphael here is number 7, and all these heads must face Raphael. And you can see from turning this crank, these cranks turn the heads. So let's get cracking on this. Now I realised that Gabriel was actually facing north towards Raphael.
An ancient crank emerges from a mechanism within the wall.
I'm not sure why I examined that, as we already know what they do.
This crank is jammed. It won't budge.
And this is where that weird grease comes into play.
I've scooped some of the greasy substance into the pot. The greasy substance could act as a lubricant here. Voila!
I am having some difficulty talking today, so hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about.
A bust of a mighty bull. It's facing northwest towards the goat.
There we go.
Something has emerged from within the bust. A curious object. I'll keep it. The hand is dry and withered, like beef that has been left to age. The gold coin is shiny and smooth, no doubt worth a small fortune. A thin piece of stone carved into the shape of what appears to be an eye.
Alright, so that's one chamber completed. Let's move on to this one here for now.
Goodness me! Herbert? It's Herbert! What madness is this?
How did Herbert get in here? Although, we did open up the barrow, so it's quite obviously wandered in, but it was quite a distance to get down here. Maybe he traced our scent?
What on earth are you doing down here, you silly cat? Did you follow me? It looks absolutely starving.
I wonder, what can we feed this cat? A flower, maybe?
I don't wish to give that away.
Alright, well, how about more disturbingly, this hand?
Ghastly.
You're welcome. It really ate the whole hand, including the bones. Yeah, that is quite ghastly.
A shiny gold coin. Another gold coin. This one also has no markings. The gold coin is shiny and smooth, no doubt worth a small fortune.
We can't do much here right now, but all the same, we will take a look around.
A hole has been driven into the side of the stone. That is well out of my reach.
What about this one?
I don't know why, but I really don't want to put my hand in there.
Why not?
Extraordinary. An ancient monument so deep beneath the earth. I know not the world I find myself in. There is a queer heat emanating from the stone. The statue echoes the mural back in the first chamber. Something is catching what little light there is in this chamber.
Oh yes.
Something is catching what little light there is in this chamber.
Yeah, you said that.
Something is hanging here. A writhing mass of serpents carved from stone. On the reverse side is a thin, notched shaft. Perhaps a key of some nature. The statue bears no moving parts or secrets, it would seem.
We can't do much more here, so let's head onwards.
The man is presenting a small, rounded object. This figure makes my skin crawl somewhat. What exactly is it? It presents a small, rounded object. This figure makes my skin crawl somewhat. What exactly is it? It presents a small, rounded object.
Okay, so using and examining are the same two options with this mural.
A remarkably accurate depiction for something that must be so ancient. It's an ancient vessel, the shape of which I haven't seen before. There is a thin slot set into the front of it, not unlike a piggy bank. I can't move it an inch. It's heavier than it looks. There is a thin slot set into the front of it, not unlike a piggy bank.
Maybe instead of being heavy, it's attached to this plinth.
The coin went in. I don't think anything happened.
Maybe we need 2 coins, just like this mural depicts. Or we could try to jimmy it open.
That won't fit into the slot.
Oh. Maybe not then.
The coin went in. Something stirred within the plinth. I should take a closer look down there. Characters. Perhaps Greek in origin? They are protruding out from the plaque. Perhaps I can push them in some manner.
Right, I believe these spell out Abraxas, Invulnerable, and Take Over. Now please correct me if I'm wrong. Now there is another clue in a journal. This one just here. Rho, Theta, Epsilon and Z. Now to get through this easily you should know the Greek language, but if you don't then either blind look or Google it. So just need to basically just need to Google the Greek alphabet. So Rho is this one here, as depicted in a journal. Theta is this one. Epsilon is in a journal as well, and that is this character here. And Z is this character here. Yeah, this game doesn't really want to throw you a bone with the clues. It's kind of like, good luck.
This must be important. A thin rod with tiny notches along the shaft. The head is adorned with a coiled serpent.
This game is very good at giving you lots of background things happening, like this mural and the Arcanites and everything else. I've tried to be as informative as I could be without going too overboard. But yes.
Astonishing! An ancient device.
Sorry, Thomasina, I did not mean to interrupt you. But yes, this game does... It's very well at not giving you too much information. By that, it doesn't really give you much information at all.
A thin rod with tiny notches along the shaft. The head is adorned with an Ouroboros. A delicately carved, writhing mass of serpents, with a key-like appendage emerging from the rear side. The stone has been carved into a small crescent moon shape. The small rod is topped with the carved depiction of a coiled serpent. Small indentations and protrusions run along the shaft. The small rod is topped with the carved depiction of the Ouroboros. Small indentations and protrusions run along the shaft.
Now there's kind of a hint in this journal again, and that is here. You can see we have the two rods right here, and I think that these give you an indication of where to place them. Like here is the second one down, and here it looks like it's at the top. And now we just need to match up. Well, from what I know of how to solve this puzzle, we need to match up the arrows to the rods.
The rod doesn't seem to fit here.
Alright. Oh yes, we need to also... I didn't really take much of a look at this before I started to play around with it.
A deep hole drilled into the wall. I can't quite fit my finger inside.
You'll fit your whole body inside of dark caves full of vegetation, but you won't put your finger inside of a small hole.
This has the appearance of some sort of dial. It moves a fraction, but appears to be locked in some manner. The notches seem to correlate to the holes on the right-hand side of the contraption. It appears this section does not move.
Not at all.
Smaller than the one at the base, but I think this might be a dial too. It moves a fraction, but appears to be locked in some manner. Perhaps there is some sort of key to activate this contraption. I can't fit my fingers inside.
Right, the key is just here.
It fits.
Now I'm going to move this dial.
Something moved in another room.
There we go. Now let's take a look in the other room and you can see what we're aiming for.
Remarkable! A shaft of inexplicable light is beaming from the mouth of the serpent. Extraordinary. The statue is well out of reach.
So yeah, if you're unsure, you can always go back and forth to see how things are looking.
It appears this section does not move.
Of course it doesn't, I misclicked. There we go. Yeah, I hope you don't feel like I've been talking too much out of my arse while playing this game.
What in God's name?
I don't think God has much to do with this.
Could there be something inside? What's this? A piece of stone carved into the shape of a crescent moon. It must be important. The thin stone has been carved to resemble a crescent moon. This is larger than the other one I found.
Alright. It's time to solve the last puzzle of this area. Although it's not too much of a puzzle.
It fits. The fragment is in place. It fits. It fits. Ah, it's gone.